What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, again, took another loss today. But this time it was just a normal loss, right? And I think that's kind of what's frustrating about yesterday is I didn't take a normal loss, but I took a normal win, right? So instead of just being up $100 yesterday, we were down $200 yesterday. So then when I take a normal loss today, it's like, it's like we're kind of like starting from scratch. So it's the first time I think in a long time, actually. I think it's the first time all month that I've had two losing days in a row. So that's actually pretty good. This is the Express account here, so you can kind of see that, it sucks that the two losing days in a row happen to be on my funded account. Um, we're still profitable on the week, so that's fine, kind of like a break-even week, but if we go to the combine, you can see as well, same thing. We're still very profitable on the week this week. But it just so happened to be that, of course, when I start trading the funded account, I start losing. So it is what it is. It happens. Today I'm actually not upset at all of this loss, and we'll kind of go over the trade. So if we start from the beginning, we can see here that we have a D-shaped profile essentially, but I have this yellow box here to kind of show that there was a gap at that time. Not a gap, but like less volume in this area. It's now closed up now that we're at like 10:40 p.m. Eastern. So long bias, I mean, from earlier today, you can see we've just been climbing up and up and up. Like there's been no stop whatsoever, and it's been an insane move up. And we just continued, right? So maybe I just caught the very last of the move. Um, if we look and see kind of when I started trading, I started trading here at 8 o'clock. So this red candle, huge volume here, right? Fine. We have our zones. Then we have this huge green candle here, which I really do like, right? And I was thinking, oh, maybe I can take something, but I'm like, no, we didn't really clear that yet. And at the time, we kind of cleared the zone a little bit. It did move up, which is why it's right here now. And then we kind of cleared it a little bit more, and I adjusted it. I made sure to adjust my zone this time. And then we came back down, right? So I was like, I kind of want more of a pullback. I want us to make sure that we're really pulling back here. We consolidate a little bit longer before we head higher, but instead, we just shot up. So I said, no trade. I'm not taking that. It would have worked, if I had taken it on this candle here, or even this candle here would have been really small. On this candle here, I was like, ooh, like we could continue. We might not even get a trade at all today. But instead, we just fell all the way down. What I was hoping was that we would get a small pullback around this area, form a higher low, and then continue. But it's not, for the way that I trade, it's not exactly necessary for that to occur. Instead, what happened was we continued lower and then we just shot through VWAP on a huge red candle, right? I guess that could have signaled to me like, hey, like maybe we're not heading higher anymore, but I was like, we're still, look at this, still on really nice support for the session, for Asian session here. Really nice support. All of that is right there for you, right? So you're bouncing here. I ended up taking a trade here. As you can see, I got in at 419.25 here on this candle, and we actually shot right up. What I was hoping to see was that I would enter here, we pull back a little bit, consolidate on view up, and then start heading higher for these highs up here, right? But that never happened, and I only added one contract. Maybe that was my mistake, I should have added like three contracts. My rule right now that I thought about last night and I implemented into today was that my risk initially will start off on 150, my profit on 200, but it's not going to stay that way. It's just so that way I can see the profit and the stop loss, right? Like if I come here onto the practice account and I'm like, okay, let me sell, right? If I sell, if it wants to fill
Order
me,
filled.
you can see here that I can just automatically see my stop loss is at 150. And I can scroll out a little bit. Now my profit is 200, right? But I also want to start adding three contracts to the trade. So in reality,
Order
well,
filled.
what it would look like is I would put on three here, I'd sell, right? So limit sell.
Order filled.
I could see the stop right there, and I can easily access the profit target too, right? The take profit, right? So kind of
Order
what
filled.
that's kind of what I was trying to do today. But today here, I was like, I just want to see if we can just add one and pull back, but it never happened. It never happened, right? Instead, we shot all the way up, sold at the top. I seem to be kind of good at that here. We dropped all the way down. Now this is where my loss happens, right? We come back down to the initial bounce, and that's fine with me. That's what I love to look for. We're on VWAP, another confluence right there. We're on point of control, another confluence right there, right? We broke out of that zone and we bounced back. Another confluence right there. So everything is perfect. Like honestly, my entries were really good. Like I was really proud of how I added here. I added one initially, right? Just to to see if we can get this move because I'm like, there's no way we're gonna get another V recovery, right? Like we're not gonna just blast through. It did end up going lower though, but still, added one there. Added another one here, right? You can see high volume green candle signaling we wanted to head higher. Low volume red. I added a couple here, right? One here and then one for 1825. And then I added one more here, right? The reason why I added one more here was because of the fact that we shot lower on this red candle. You can see it a little bit easier on trading view here. We shot lower on this red candle and we came back higher with a better green candle right there, right? So I was like, I'll add one more here. Still on point of control, still on VWAP, hoping we can bounce higher. The trend has been higher, right? I think the only thing you can say about this trade, in my perspective, that oh, it wasn't in your favor was we have a high here and we have a lower high here. But to me, again, with the way that I trade, the lower high doesn't really matter. We're in a range, right? I want to see if we can bounce off of this high volume. I want to see if we can bounce off of point of control, off of VWAP, and start heading higher, right? And I want to see signals that we are heading higher, right? So here's a signal right here, boom. Here's another one right here, boom. And that last one that I added there was another signal to me. But it didn't work. So where was my stop loss? It was right here, below these candles here. I was willing to take the loss below 400, and we got stopped out at 398.75 for all four contracts. I'm not upset, you know. I think yesterday I was a little bit more upset. I was at work today, working with patients, and I was thinking like, bro, like why can't I just accept the loss, you know? And later on, I did end up accepting loss too because I realized it was limited loss, you know, $200 loss. That's so good. Like back on my other funded account, I know we talked about it in my video talking about my plan for my funded account. Like you can see the graph, you can see the equity curve where we were up and then we dropped like $800 in a day. It's like, why? You know, especially if you're on a funded account, like you have to trade conservatively. That's what I've learned. You have to trade conservatively. If you trade conservatively, that doesn't mean like, oh, you're only trading like one contract, but it just means like limit your losses because you're going to lose. You know, this is the first time this month where I've had two losing days in a row. It's not been a thing for me. Not saying that, oh, it will never be a thing for me, but it's not been a thing for me as of late. I've been trading really well. Things have been going my way. But now things aren't going my way. I mean, look at the price action today. Price action today was a little bit wacky, especially here, right? This was a little bit of a wacky move, but hey, it can happen. Then here, then huge uh price movement lower. then huge price movement higher, not quite as high, then huge price movement lower. We finally get some normalcy. You can say that this is bear flagging here. I kind of get that, I do, right? But you are on support. You're showing a little bit signs of life, and then you drop, right? So that's pretty much the only normal move, and it just happened to move against me. So it is what it is. Um, Things happen, right? So that's why it's super important to limit your losses. Limit your losses. Trading is not a game where you're going to win every single time, right? I will not win every single time. I highly doubt I will have a perfect month. It is so rare, right? For someone to come out and have a perfect month. There are people who have 80 to 90% win rate. That's super cool. For myself, I would like a 60 to 70% win rate and still continue to win big, but it's not always possible. And these last 2 days have shown that. So I'm not upset. I can accept this loss a lot easier too because it's the way that I trade. I thought it was a very good trade as well, and it just didn't work out. And sometimes that's just how it goes too. So $100 loss today. The balance is now at $76.24. Happens, what I really want is to get to that $4,000 mark. But we might not get that anytime soon. It might take us a month, it might take us longer than that, depending on how the trades go, depending on how I trade. We might lose this funded account. Again, anything can happen, right? But as long as I stick to my rules, I stick to my edge, I trade the best that I can, then hey, it is what it is. I think the funny thing is too, this is what I would consider an A setup. This was like an A setup. Um, and yesterday when I won, that first trade that I won, that was like a B setup. So it's so funny how trading goes is that you can do everything right and still lose. And I did everything right today. And I think that's like the first time in a while where I've experienced me doing everything correctly and still losing. So it's not a tough pill to swallow because you did everything well, but obviously you want to win those trades, right? Like you would like your A minus and A plus setups to win every single time, but it just doesn't happen like that. So we limited the loss today. It's the end of the trading week for me, which sucks. I wish I could trade tomorrow. But I've already locked out my account anyway, and I wish I could trade on a Friday, but I got work tomorrow and I got work on Saturday. Um, but Sunday we'll come back stronger. We'll stick to our plan again. Hopefully we get a little bit better price movement, price action for us. We read the market well and then we go again. So anyway, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you guys have had a great trading week. Recuperate over the weekend and then come back stronger starting on Monday for most of you guys, or Sunday if you're like me and you work full time and you just trade at night. So um, I definitely believe next week will be a better week for me. I think I'll trade well. I'm not as scared anymore too. I think reading trading in the zone has been helping. But I also think too, just sticking to my setup, sticking to my plan, has also been helping too, right? And not making silly mistakes. Today, no silly mistakes were made. Not at all. I think the only thing that maybe can improve is sizing, right? But again, that first trade when I won, there was nothing wrong with the sizing. I was just looking to add more and I never had the chance. So um it happens. I mean, you just have to take it on the chin. So yeah, hoping to continue to limit my losses and hoping to continue to maximize my profits. That's the goal of this game. And we're still on the road to my first ever payout. So we'll get there. We'll get there. It's just gonna take some time. So anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Comment down below how your trading week has gone. Hopefully you've had a good week. If not, we'll always bounce back, man. Don't worry about it. We'll bounce back. I'll bounce back, and I know you'll bounce back too, for sure. So, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. And yeah, let me know how you guys did. And yeah, I hope you guys continue to trade stoically and have a awesome weekend. See you guys on Monday.